It's been 2 weeks and I think Shawn killed me. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And together we are speaking the language of Bromance. And Shawn, today is a good day to be in America.
It's the day after, the weekend after Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We're getting all hyped for our Christmas presents.
Oh my God, I had so much turkey.
We did too.
So let me. I'm gonna quick thing is, I was gonna have Thanksgiving with my sister, and so the weekend, like 2 weeks before that weekend, I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and get the turkey because they had a good price on turkey, and I was like, okay, how many people are there gonna be? And it ended up being like 5 or 6 of us. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to get a whole lot of turkey. And then that way everybody can have a bunch to eat and everybody can have a bunch for leftovers. You know, I can split it up or whatever. Mm-hmm. Shawn, I bought a 21-pound turkey. Because like I said, they were cheap, you know?
That's what, 3 pounds? That's 4 pounds a person.
Right?
That's
right?
a lot of turkey.
Okay. Then the problem arose. I bought a turkey and then 2 days later, we're not having Thanksgiving at my sister's.
Yeah. Ours is getting canceled too.
Not a good time.
Yeah.
But you know what's even worse than that? The fact that I now have a 21-pound fucking turkey that I'm feeding 3 people with.
Could you do would be like what do they call that you do? Roadside pickup? Curbside pickup? You could do that. You could build like a little to-go container for everybody.
I mean, basically that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to have to chop this turkey up and divvy it up and then leave it on people's doorsteps like I'm Johnny fucking Appleseed with the goddamn turkey.
You're Richard Turkey Leg.
Fucking chop it. Everybody's going to eat. And then after everybody eats, then I'm going to like divvy everything up in like Ziploc bags. And then I'm going to have to drive around and leave stuff on people's porch. It's like homeless. It's like Salvation Army, but in reverse.
Yeah, I know. I just finished editing our Thanksgiving episode was last week. We're all talking about like we love the tradition of Thanksgiving. We love all the fun that comes with it, the family, the gathering.
Yeah.
And then I found out that I got sick.
Yep.
And then they're like, you know what? It's, your family in the house after you're all clear. I'm like, oh, sweet. I'll be clear before Thanksgiving. Like, yeah, but your family's got another 2 weeks. You're like, oh, well.
Yeah. And that you potentially almost killed your best friend.
I did.
You
came
did.
up not knowing.
Here's the thing. Okay, so obviously, like we've said this a million times, we obviously don't record in the same place. So we've not actually physically seen each other in the same space.
It's taken me like multiple weeks to convince me that you can't get me sick over the internet. I'm like, no, Richard.
It's taken me multiple weeks for you to convince me that you're a real person. So it's been, like I said, I haven't actually physically seen Shawn since March. However, I had to move. I was moving at the beginning of November.
Yep.
I was moving. Friend. I had to move. And so Shawn, being the super awesome best dude ever, was like, I'm going to help you move. And I'm like, great, that sounds awesome. I was like, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I was like, you really don't have to. He's like, no, it's no trouble at all. I really don't mind. So he comes up, he helps me move stuff. And like a bro, he comes up, he helps me move stuff, and everything's great.
Yep. I was coughing the whole time. You're like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm fine.
Here, hold this Kleenex.
Wheezing.
And I was like, I'm hot. I'm wiping myself with it.
Like, it must be the weather. It's 32 degrees out.
So the first time we've seen each other since March was him coming up, being the best guy he is, coming up and helping me move. The next day, the day after he helps me move, he gets a call and says that he may have been exposed. And then I'm like,
yeah. And I had,
oh shit!
It's like the
because he told me, and then 2 days after that, then he's like, I popped positive.
Yeah,
and I was like, I was like, is that a good thing? And he said, I was like, you're pregnant? And he said, no, the other thing. And I was like, oh no.
But Shawn, you already had herpes.
We've all had herpes. Look it up.
I know, right? I get mouth herpes.
Don't we all?
Do you get mouth herpes?
I mean, if by mouth we're talking genital, it's the same. It's the same thing, right?
I think they're different.
One's on your lips, and
I think
one's covering your entire scrotum.
I think
right?
the one on your lips are like the A virus, and the ones downstairs are the D virus.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's been an adventure.
That
Richard.
was my nickname for it in high school. Hey, baby, you want the D virus? And they said, what does that mean? And I said, I'm riddled with herpes. And then nobody slept with me, and I couldn't understand. I couldn't figure it out.
And it hurt to masturbate. So
yep, only at first.
But no, Richard. Since we couldn't be with the loved ones physically, we're there with them virtually. We said, all right, well, what are we going to do with all this extra time and this extra turkey?
Yeah. How are we going to cope?
Yeah.
What are we going to use to cope? What can I hug besides a family member, since I have no family members to hug?
Well, I mean, technically, these are things that if they get way too hot, you get concerned too. If they get a virus, you can be concerned.
That's true.
And when they die,
we all die.
Yeah, you die a little bit on this side. Richard, right now, I know you are and I am, because there's a lot of stuff coming out right now, and I am drowning in technology.
You are, and you know what? So am I. Actually, I think you probably more than me.
Oh,
because you more than me because you've gotten a few things.
I've gotten multiple
that I
things.
have not gotten.
I guess, I mean, my technology kind of swimming recently started out with, so we joked a long time ago about Fitbits and how we both thought they were stupid and obnoxious and not necessary.
Yeah, absolutely. They're completely unnecessary. And I think we both agree that anybody that gets them is not only a terrible person, but also like suffers from some sort of delusion,
narcissism.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Bipolar.
Hey, did you check my Facebook post? 10,000 steps, baby.
Oh, Jesus.
Richard,
Christ.
I got a Fitbit, a new one. So my
a new one. Wait a minute. You say a new one. Does that imply that you had an old one?
So back in January, in 2020,
God damn it.
when the year looked grand for us, Tiffany got me a surprise. Not really a gift. She was like heavy into the like Facebook Marketplace stuff for a bit. So she got a it wasn't brand new. It was like 4 generations old. So it was a pretty old one, Fitbit. So I was like, all right, well, I'll try it out. And for about 6 or 7 months, I really liked it. And Fitbit came out with their new versions. So, Richard, this is actually probably a tale of splurging that I should have done. So there's 2 versions of this Fitbit that came out. There's the Versa 3, and they came out with this other like super high like end one. So the Fitbit Versa was just typical, count your steps, count your sleep, kind of all that type of, normal stuff.
Okay. So you're counting your steps. You're that person.
Yep, and it's kind of nice. I've actually enjoyed.
Did you hear the disappointment in my voice when I said, so you're counting your steps?
The sleep it's more of just kind of like numbers. If you're interested in numbers and stats. I don't post any of the stuff, but like it's been kind of nice to get like a text message and not have to pull my phone out. I can just check my watch, and I don't have to spend like the $800 it costs for an Apple Watch, which is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But Richard,
that is ridiculous.
I almost splurged for the higher end one, and it may have came in handy for us. So what the
higher end one do?
It actually takes your body temperature and does other like.
I think that would have helped you.
Yes, because it does other like rhythmatic like checking of your system, because it can tell when you're potentially getting sick.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah, so if I would have had that watch, Richard, maybe Friday had been like, "Whoa, wait, my Fitbit's starting to alert me."
Move.
Yeah, that's gonna be my excuse from now on, though. Next time you move, like I can't help you, Richard. Remember what happened last time? That was 20 years ago.
I'm not calling you anymore because I'm gonna be like, hey, did you move? I'm like, yeah, I'm in a new place. Why didn't you call me? Do you remember what happened last time? Never again, Shawn.
But I mean, so this was really I got this like 2 months ago.
Okay, so wait a minute. So you have this thing, you have this Fitbit, and it counts the number of steps you take in a day.
Mm-hmm.
And it also, what?
It will keep track of your sleep, so it'll tell you how well you're sleeping, which is interesting because some nights I wake up and I feel refreshed, and it'll say like 68%, which is like bad.
Well, that's not good. Doesn't that like
a little bit?
I would think that like some of that's psychosomatic. Like, let's say you wake up in the morning and you're like, "Oh my god, I feel fucking amazing," and then you look at your fucking watch that's like, "No, you actually slept terribly," and then you're like, "Oh god, I guess I did."
Like, great, my day's ruined.
Now it's ruined.
Yep.
Now I feel horrible. I should call in.
It keeps track of your heartbeat. It tries to build like different goals, like steps in a day, like the number of like actual stairs to go up. There's this thing called, I don't remember exactly what it is, but basically you need to get your heart rate over a certain number for a minute, and it wants you to do that for 22 minutes a day because that's supposed to be good for heart, like cardiovascular kind of stuff.
I'm not a fan of this whole micromanaging thing. I mean, I'm not trying to be all like, "Hey, you can't tell me what to do," but like, there is a little piece of me that's like, hey, like, I'm just trying to fucking live my life here. Like, could you not?
Yeah, it's if you are good at being guilted into do stuff, this definitely is the thing for you.
Right.
It's like 11:30 at night, and you're like, I'm gonna eat a bowl of ice cream, and your watch is like, oh, are you?
Yeah.
You know how many steps you're at right now?
Sure, you want to do that?
Yeah.
Do you know how many steps you took today?
Me?
That's weak.
Oh, that's just me. It's like, I can tell you how many steps I've taken today.
God, of course you can. That's weak. That's pussy numbers.
5,359, which is, you're supposed to be over like 10,000 a day.
Yeah, that's rookie numbers. You gotta get those numbers up, bud.
I'm sick, Richard, so I have an excuse. Although, when we moved, Richard,
I think Fitbit would disagree.
When I helped you move, I was like at like 40 of my cardiovascular number. I was breathing super heavy.
Fantastic. That's what I need to hear. I feel fine.
But so, and the other thing, so I had a work from home system kind of set up. I actually didn't think I was going to get to use this work from home system because, as you know, I'm a fan of Apple, to much your chagrin. But you are an Apple fanboy, and I very much am not. Yeah, and I bought this system based more for Windows stuff because that's what my work is. But I've got new, and we've talked about this offline a little bit, but I've got dual monitors now and a docking station. Welcome to the world. How great is it? Ooh, it's so. With my old computer, with my PC, I was able to get it to work just fine. For some reason, in my silly head, I didn't think I could get my Mac to do it. Yeah. But being able to get my Mac docked and have both these screens up has just like made stuff so much more like just better. Yeah. Yeah. You plug everything in and then you're like, I can show you the world. Yeah, it's like shining, shimmering, splendid. Campaign creation for game days is going to be so much more easier now at home. Yeah. Because usually it was like I'd have both computers. I'd have my Mac and then I'd have my game day computer. Yeah. But now, fire up the Mac, throw stuff up. I can have a movie playing on one, campaign stuff on the other, porn on the other. Magic. Awesome. What do you think I have on the third screen while we're doing this? But I think the key where you have a little bit to talk to. All I'm saying is this chick's getting railed. What you'll have a lot to talk about as well as I will, Richard, is that, we've talked about this before where I basically was cheating on my old iPhone, but we both got brand new phones. We did. I'll tell you what. So you got a new phone because you're weird. You're in the weird Apple cult and you're like, I gotta get a new phone. No. I got a new phone because I had a problem with my old one. So I sang the praises of my old phone to the heavens. If anyone has a Galaxy S8 active, the active, not just the regular Galaxy S8, but anybody that has the S8 active, you guys need to hold on to that phone like grim death because they discontinued the active series after that model.
And that thing can take such a beating. That thing was big. It was meaty. It was heavy. You could whack it on stuff and nothing. You know what that phone was? That phone was the Nintendo 64 of phones.
I was going to say it's like the Nokia phone of this generation.
Yeah, it was. It was kind of like, it was the next generation of Nokia. Like you could fucking run a car over it and that phone's like, lol, I don't give a shit.
You're not a... So I don't know why it is, because I'm not a big, like, I don't have to have like a awesome computer, but for some reason phones are just I guess it's just Apple phones, like iPhones. Yeah. Getting one of those new ones and unboxing it and opening it, even though I'm not using much else different than my old one, there's something just amazing about that to me. Like I get giddy about it.
See, so not so much to me. So here was the problem that I had with my phone. Okay. So I was outside last week. And I had my phone in my jacket pocket. I bent over to grab something that was on the ground. The phone fell out of my jacket pocket and it landed. So here's the thing. It didn't land. It landed on the ground. So I was standing on concrete and I was leaning over, picking something up out of the grass. It had landed on the corner of the concrete, and that honestly, that would have been fine. Like it would have done it would have bounced right off and been like, okay, whatever, pick me back up. The problem is that it landed directly, like the corner directly hit the power button on the side of the phone. And it had smashed that button in.
Mm-hmm. And have you dropped that phone before? Like this was.
I've dropped that phone fucking hundreds of times.
Gotcha.
It was just it was basically like the fucking like it was like the Achilles heel of that phone. It had landed just right at just the right amount of force to smash that power button in. Now, so the fun thing is that it actually, like, the phone wasn't broken, like the screen wasn't cracked or anything like that. The phone was still completely functional. The only issue after that happened, is I couldn't put the phone in standby mode. You know how, like, when you're messing with your phone and you do stuff, and then when you go to set it down, you hit the button on the side and you set the phone down.
Could you have set the time frame for it to auto go into sleep lower?
I could have. But the problem is that the other problem with that is, like, if the phone ever, like, completely died, how the hell am I going to turn it back on?
That's a good point. I think, some of them I think have ways to get around that, but yeah, it's probably not going to be convenient.
Right. And see, that's the thing is that, like, it didn't, I wasn't like, oh, well, this phone's fucked now. It's just like it put enough of an inconvenience that I was like, well, I guess I should go get a new one. And the reason I could get a new one is because I had been eligible for an upgrade for like 2 years. I had that phone for like actually just over 4 years.
Oh, wow. And that's ancient when it comes to phone technology.
It is. It really is.
But
that's how long that phone lasted.
Yeah.
And if it had not fallen out of my pocket and smashed that power button, I'd still be using it and been perfectly happy.
You didn't have a case for it?
No, it didn't have a case. It didn't need one.
Mm.
The phone was fucking solid enough. It didn't even need a case. It was basically like the outer shell of the phone was the case.
Yeah. Do they have cases for them or?
I don't know if they had cases for them or not.
I'm always like, my phone right now, I don't have a case on. It comes in tomorrow.
This one, I'm definitely going to get a case for.
Yeah. I feel like it's, well, again, it goes to like when I open this, like I hold this like it's a baby, like an infant child.
Yeah.
Like I'm carrying it around the house with 2 hands until my phone case comes in. Yeah, I got the new iPhone Pro Max.
Mr. Fancy with this fucking Apple bullshit.
It is. It's pretty heavy. It's got good sound. It's got the 3 cameras on it. And I've pretty much just been on like Twitter.
So I've used Twitter. Well, yeah. What else? No, that's it.
Just Twitter.
Just
Twitter.
Facebook.
No, it's I watched a few videos on it. It looks pretty sweet. The case I'm getting, so this has like I think my old phone had it too, the cordless charging.
Oh, my old phone had that.
I never end up splurging on the like stuff to do it.
But with this one, me too. That's the other reason I think I never had a case on it, was because I was like, well, if I end up getting like a cordless or a wireless charger and I have to set it on there, like it's not going to work if I have a case on it.
I think some of them are like MagSafe now. So I always it's a company called 12 South, and they make books. I think you've seen mine, but essentially what it is it's a phone case that looks like a book, but you can use it as
it looks like one of those little pocket Bibles that you always see people carry around.
Yeah, for sure. But they've got that.
But then you're like, the God Steve Jobs, and he said unto me, thou shalt tweet only in 140 characters.
Praise be Apple.
Praise be Steve Wozniak.
But what's cool with that is the case used to be a little like plastic clips. So like what you said, if I had to charge it, I have to pop it off these clips and sit it on something. The new ones now, because they're building it to be more convenient, the actual case that goes into the actual wallet part is magnetized. So you just have to open it, pop that out, and you pop it on your magnet charger, and off you go.
Okay.
But it's...
At the end of the day, I don't care because it's a fucking iPhone.
Yeah, but, so to me, like, the things I think about when it comes to technology that... Like, I got my MacBook, and, like, that was cool.
Well, see, that's the thing is you have a MacBook, you have an iPhone, you have like you have an Apple world. So now that you have an Apple world, you can't disrupt the Apple world.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. It'd be like, so going from my old phone to my new one, I basically turn this phone on, set my settings, and it says, put your old phone next to it, put my old phone next to it. It transferred all the data in like 30 minutes, and then I'm off and running. And so it's one of those things, if I'm like, oh, I'm going to go with the Galaxy 23 or whatever you said you have.
Yeah.
Well, now I've just kind of like uprooted my whole family and moved them to a new place.
Exactly.
It's like, what is this land? Where's Siri? There is no Siri here. Only Google Voice.
There is no God here. Yes, I have. So the phone I got was the Note 20. Ultra, I think is what it's called. And so here's the thing. This is one of those phones that has that like curved screen thing.
Oh, how do you feel about that?
Not a fan. I'm not a fan of it. I think that's the other reason I really want to get a case, because if I'm doing something, my thumbs and my fingers are constantly like, like they'll come in on the screen, and then I'll basically accidentally hit stuff on the screen because my hand is clenched around the sides.
Yeah. That's something like, I don't feel like they make phones to be comfortable to be used without some kind of case anymore. Like,
I agree.
Mine is like super unwieldy and feels very top heavy. Like it's comfortable, but like not enough that if I was riding in a boat, I'd want to take a picture with it.
Yeah.
Because it's so smooth, there's no like real grip.
So my cons with this phone is, number one, the curved screen. Like I said, I'm definitely getting a case for this. Number one, because it's way more fragile than my older phone was. And number two is I'm tired of accidentally pushing buttons or pushing, prompts because my hand is around the sides of the phone. Comes with the handy little stylus.
How do you feel about that?
I have yet to use it. This is the first time I'm using it right now, and I'm writing my name. I mean, it feels nice, I guess. It's okay.
Do you feel anything different than like using your finger? Because I know like there's a it does feel like I'm actually. It's like it does. I will say it does feel like I'm writing on like a notepad. I gotcha. Because I know they've got like a signature mode on Apple's now, where if you use your finger, it feels comfortable enough. Because I mean, a lot of
apparently
stuff.
there's little swipes and swishy motions you can do with the stylus above the screen, and it kind of reads it.
Oh, I gotcha. Oh, so like it'll write out the word.
Yeah.
Do you feel like that's going to be something you use much, or
no? I guarantee you that I will probably have this phone for a while, and I guarantee you that I will use that stylus maybe twice in my life.
Gotcha. And that'll be to scratch your back.
Yeah, something like that. The other thing I really don't like about this is there is no headphone jack, Shawn.
So they went away from it too?
Yes. I was very upset. I found that out this morning when I was like, oh, I'm going to plug my motherfucker.
Did it come with headphones?
It did not.
Oof. Did it come with an adapter?
So
it has, Apple has that lightning plug-in. And so you can use a adapter on regular headphones to get into that.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, you might check that.
I haven't really dug around in it. Like this is literally my third day with it.
I gotcha. I know because that was when Apple got rid of their jack too. Like I think the last one I had, so like the 8, maybe the 7 or 8. But they give you headphones that are adapted to it. But I don't. It's kind of like when you think of big changes, but I don't know if the world's ready for Bluetooth only phones and stuff yet.
Yeah, I think that you know, if I'm able to go to the store and buy a pair of Bluetooth headphones for $5, then you can give me a phone with no headphone jack.
Yeah, I think the cheapest ones you can get on Amazon are like maybe $15 or $20.
Because I mean, if we're living in a world where hands-free devices are mandated, then those hands-free devices need to be readily and easily accessible. And I don't know, 15, 20, I don't know. Even on the cheap end, it seems like, I don't know. I feel it feels stupid bitching about it. It's a very first world thing.
Well, I think like $15 Bluetooth headphones compared to like $15 plug-in headphones, there's a big difference there.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Like the Bluetooth ones are just going to be crap. Like we like for our workouts, we'll buy some cheap ones because you sit them somewhere, you forget them, but they never work. Mm-hmm. I'm kind of a headphone snob though, because I know some people, I think you might be in this boat, I don't remember, but it's like, I would never spend X number of dollars on headphones.
Oh, I'll spend, if you give me a nice over the ear pair of headphones, I'll go ham on it. I'll spend 70, 80, 90 bucks on a really decent pair of headphones. Yeah,
these Bose in-ear ones I have. The first time I ever listened to Bose in-ear headphones, like the guy kind of sold it on me too. He's like, you know what? I've always had like $10, $15, $20 headphones. And somebody said, hey, there's these Bose in-ears for $120. I was like, you're an idiot. You're wasting money.
Yeah.
But then when you put them in and listen, you're like, I've never heard that note before in that song. And that's how these headphones work. Like I plugged them in and they got like a little power thing and they're the noise cancellation ones. And plug them in and you're listening to music. You're like, oh my God, I've never heard that section of the song before.
Right.
Although like 90% of what I've listened to on these is your voice and podcasts. But the times I do listen to music.
Yeah. Now you can hear the subtext in the subtle indignation in my voice when we talk.
When you opened your phone, was it kind of like, did you almost feel like I don't know, like trying to think of a good analogy and I can't come up with anything. Like were you hateful about opening it up?
A little.
Like, do you know what you're replacing? Like you bring home a dog.
Little, yeah. A little I was, because I really, really like that old phone. Honestly, like because I usually don't get the insurance plans on my phone.
Dude, insurance is a scam because
it's such a scam.
It might work out if you drop your phone in the first like 2 months.
Yeah.
Because basically all the ones I've ever had, you essentially have to pay like half or 2/3 of the price of the phone.
Well, like, okay, so most of the time, here was my thing when I originally, and this was probably like 4 years ago when I was like, I'm not doing the insurance, because 90% of the time when you want to get the insurance thing, or 90% of the time when you need to use the insurance, what's the problem? Oh, I cracked my screen. I need the screen replaced. The cost to get your screen replaced is usually like $100. What's the deductible for the phone insurance? Oh, I'll be damned. It's $100. If I want to go and get it repaired, like, at like a third party place, and get the screen replaced. Oh, it's about, $90 to $100.
Yeah.
So why the hell am I paying $20 a month for phone insurance to then turn around and pay exactly what I would be paying to get the screen replaced if I had the insurance or not?
Yeah. It's definitely a scam.
You know what? We've never talked about this, but I am so glad we are in the same camp on this.
Yeah, there's even like, I've done it before, but like when you go and buy like what we're going to talk about consoles and stuff like that, when you go and buy those, like, hey,
and they like, would you
warranty?
like the 5-year protection plan?
Yeah, it's like, no,
I'm fine.
I've never had one mess up on me. And if like it messes up in the first like month, like that's on them. Like I'm pretty sure you get like a 90-day return on it.
Yeah, that's not, yeah. Well, and also like you're going to take it to like Walmart for, and they're going to be like, oh, well, send it to Sony.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's the other thing with that stuff. Or if it's a third party kind of warranty, it's like, oh, well, you got to fill out all this paperwork and send this.
Yeah.
And
it's intentionally put in place to like deter you from getting it.
So you open your phone, you're like, you know what? Like to me, when I opened my new phone and I had to like copy the data over, I looked at my old phone. I'm like, don't you touch it. Don't you touch my new phone.
No, see me, I was like, I put the new phone next to my old one to transfer the data over. And I was like, you should thank this phone. You should be like, thank you, old phone, for letting me step in to fill your enormous shoes. And even then, I still cannot.
Are you going to frame your old phone?
I traded it in because it was a really decent trade-in deal. So I was like, yeah, okay.
I'm not a big phone trader in guy.
I mean, with this one, I was like, it's just going to sit in a drawer.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Till the end of time. So I was like, you know what? Just take it.
I guess if it's
and I'll tell you what though, I actually have the thought of going and trying to find like a refurb of my old one.
Oh yeah.
To have as like a possible backup. That's how much I love that phone. Galaxy S8 Active. And you know what? And honestly, I feel that they discontinued it because it worked so well. Because it was so like hardy and didn't, break or bust or anything like that. That they were like, look, people aren't replacing their phones.
What's like phones are kind of that technology now, but like consoles aren't really that way. Like consoles, they have to build to last, right? Like the PS2 ran like 10 years.
Yeah. PlayStation 2 ran for, well,
it butted up.
Was it that long?
I think so, because I'm pretty sure it butted up pretty close to the PS4 coming out.
I want to say the PlayStation 4 PlayStation 4 came out in 2010.
I mean, where it was like supported, like where people were still getting it, because I think the PS2 was like a top seller for a bit, like right up to when the PS4 came out.
Oh, yeah, that I don't know.
I mean, to be fair,
I think they just within the last I think maybe it was like 2 years ago when they were like, look, we're going to turn off PlayStation, a lot of the PlayStation 3 servers.
Yeah. But I mean, we think about the PS2 and the PS3 came out, it was so freaking expensive. I think it was like $600.
Yeah. That was the big fucking debacle.
Yeah.
When they were like, oh, PlayStation 3, $600, or you can get the big version for $700. And people are like, what the fuck? $700?
And that's kind of, when you think about it, that's kind of surprising that the Blu-ray won when you think about that. Because Xbox.
And those were the big chunky ones.
Yeah.
Remember the big thick boys?
Yeah, I had one of those.
It wasn't until a couple years later that they came out with the Slims.
Yep, that was Wi-Fi enabled, because the first one wasn't even Wi-Fi enabled. If you wanted to play online, you had to have the big old cord.
Yeah, you had to have it. Yeah, it had to be plugged in. You're right.
But yeah, I enjoy my phone. Like I said, opening it up, I got kind of excited, transferred it over. I've been carrying it around like a little baby, keeping it safe till my case comes in.
I look at my
tomorrow.
phone with indignation throughout the day.
Is it?
I'm like, I miss your brother.
Do you think there's? I hate saying this because I love getting new phones so much, but it's one of those things that, I mean, I do a lot on my phone, but it's almost like I want to find more things to do to make it feel like it's worth it.
Oh, that I do. Yes. When you think about how much your phone actually costs.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? when like somebody tells you, be like, if you paid retail for that, it'd be like $900.
Which, I mean, at least how iPhones and stuff are set up, you're essentially paying like what you were. At least that's how it was set up with us, is you have to buy them outright now. Back in the day, you didn't, but they've essentially just flipped the cost of it. So instead of paying X number of dollars per month, but you get a free phone, you're spending a little bit less per month. And then they add the extra monthly payment on it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the amount of money you spend on that, if you were just like, you know what, just give me a Nokia. I'm just going to text and call and not do anything on a phone anymore. But I guess the question is, would you spend the money on a nice camera?
I mean, like, in theory, that sounds nice. Like, you say to yourself, like, yeah, I'm going to take a step backwards and, and I'm going to accomplish so much more in the world because I won't be constantly on my phone.
Yeah, but the moment you're like, oh, my kid's being cute, let me take a...
Oh, damn it.
What's the weather going to be? Oh, I need to order some... Oh. Yeah,
I know people. There are people that I work with that still have and still use functionally like an old phone, like basically like a Nokia phone, like the old flip phones from say like circa 2000 and like pre-iPhone, I would say like 2006.
Tiff's dad, I think 2 years into our marriage, so something like 2016 maybe, that's what he had. He had like an old Nokia type phone.
Yeah, and then you're like, how do you live in the world?
And you give him the new one, he's like, I hate this thing. Like, why? Too much information.
I don't need to know all this bullshit.
But what makes
Are you sure? I think you do.
Yeah. What makes me feel pretty good about my phones is, like you said, you traded yours in. But what I've got to be able to do is, for a while I would give Tiffany my old phone. And then after I'd cycle through and give her another one, she would give that one to her mom.
Yeah.
So the phone was getting like 5 years of use, which made me feel good. It's like, okay, it's
know what else gets a lot of use, Shawn? PlayStations.
They do get a lot of use. I just finished playing my baseball season on my PS4. And then November 12th came around, Richard, where you can get a brand new PS5. And guess what I got?
What'd you get?
Not a PS5.
Oh, you got a letter. That's what you got.
Yep.
So Shawn actually did pre-order successfully. He successfully pre-ordered a PlayStation 5.
No, I didn't.
You didn't? I thought you said you did.
I didn't have a chance.
Oh, that's right. You tried.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Yeah, when they were like coming out with pre-orders and you're like, hey, just heads up, I think they have some on Walmart. And I was on Walmart, Target, GameStop. Each one of them, I had a console in my cart going to check out, spin, and say, oh, sorry, nothing available.
Mm-hmm. I was doing everything I could to try to keep you like abreast of the situation. You were like, hey, PS5 pre-orders are supposed to kick off at around like 12 o'clock. And then I'm like scrolling through Twitter and then I'm like, Shawn, I understand that it's only like 11, but people are pre-ordering stuff and getting them. And then you were like, no, it's fine. I'll wait a little bit. It should be fine.
And I spent the next hour
Shawn,
and a half.
I don't think it's going to be fine. I don't think it's going to be fine at all.
I kind of, so what I did, the way I like to buy big things is I like to save like a little bit at a time.
Yeah.
Because it's easier on the checkbook, right? Like instead of, being like, oh, like I totally have this money saved and then spending $600 like, oh, I didn't have that money saved. So what I've been doing is like each Monday, go to the ATM, pull out $20, put it in an envelope.
Yep.
And so I've been saving that up and I figured like, oh, I could pre-order one. And then I was like, well, maybe November 12th I'll be able to order one. November 12th came, Richard, and I couldn't order one.
No.
Walmart had 4 different times.
I was trying to shuffle you to places. I was like feverishly going through like Twitter and my and gaming blogs and stuff like that. I'm like, and then I'm texting you. I'm like, Amazon open pre-orders, go, go, go. And I like send you out there like some sort of fucking special forces guy. I'm like, go, go, green, green.
Like, I see it. I got it in my hands. Landmine, boom.
Yeah.
I know Xbox kind of ran into some issues too with all their pre-orders, but I don't know if it's like the Nintendo kind of mindset where they try to intentionally pull back the availability to kind of get that frenzy feel.
I don't know. I feel like Sony botched. I feel like Microsoft also. But I feel like Sony kind of botched, kind of fucking shot themselves in the foot when it came to the pre-orders and on everything.
Yeah, they weren't really clear on when it was going to happen. Like they had the event, they said when it was available, and you're like, oh, okay, well, I guess no pre-orders.
Yeah,
then all of a sudden
had the event, and then they were like, okay, pre-orders are going to start in like 2 hours or something like that. But as soon as the thing ended, people were trying, like, they were like, oh, I'll just check, and they were like, oh, I can pre-order, and then they would get it.
Yeah, Target, I think it was Walmart. So then
everybody just fucking bombarded. Were like retail places were just getting hammered.
Well, they were trying to trickle it out because I know, Walmart,
Target went down.
Yeah,
Walmart went down. Best Buy went down. I think Amazon went down, and Amazon waited till like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, I think when you went to the page, it was like a cat.
Yeah, Amazon waited 12 hours before they opened, and the second they did,
yep. And now you have to be careful too, because if you go to Amazon or Walmart, you'll see available ones, but it's third party.
Ooh,
yeah. So it's like PS5 for $600. You're like, why? That's what I find amazing about a lot of this stuff too. Like, I think phones have it figured out because I think the concern with phones is like if like iPhone came out and they're like, oh my gosh, pre-order today, and you try to pre-order, it's like, sorry, sold out. And you're like, all right, I'm gonna go get a Galaxy then.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna go get the new Google phone.
Yeah.
But with consoles, I think you're a little bit more of a fanboy. Like if I go into the store and there's an Xbox sitting there, I'm not gonna get it because I'm a PlayStation guy. It's just that's what I play.
I get what you're saying. But no PlayStation 5 for Shawn.
No.
Which is sad because I've been, like I said, I was telling you earlier, I've been watching some streams with PlayStation 5. It looks really nice.
Yeah, I'm not a huge like the Spider-Man games is not up my alley. But
that Spider-Man game looks so good, though.
Yeah, people had said like the missions seem like more legit. Like I guess the first one had a ton of side missions that just took forever. It
looks so pretty though, like web swinging through New York. It looks so good.
That's the review I heard. It says like just walking through New York. If you're a New Yorker, like you get some nostalgia feels.
Yeah, I could see that. I definitely could see that.
Yeah, the only big saving grace, I think for the PlayStation, I really, really, really wanted one like launch day, and I was gonna like take a couple of days off of work and told Tiffany to get out of the house. But with the current situation of stuff going on, like that wouldn't be a possibility anyway.
Sure.
But
so let's say hypothetically that you got your PlayStation 5 on November 12th. What would you have played?
That's the tough part because it probably would have been Spider-Man. And I think the baseball game I play, they've got some like up convert to the PS5.
Oh yeah, all the old stuff is supposed to up convert. But you don't have a 4K TV, do you?
Yeah. But
oh, you do?
Yeah, and I don't know how well consoles like do on like those kinds of TVs anyway. I think they do okay.
I've heard it up converts really well.
Some of the
I've heard it up converts to it upticks to 4K. It looks great. So the one thing I will say about Xbox and the PlayStation, I would say that this new generation of consoles is probably the closest that they've gotten to a higher end gaming PC in the entire history of either franchise.
So what do you think that is? Do you think that's just the hardware's caught up enough that they could put it in there, or it's got cheap enough? Or
I think that I think it's that. I think that the hardware's gotten cheap enough that you can do it. Especially, like when the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One, when those came out, like solid state drives were just becoming more mainstream. Yeah. We had just started seeing video cards that were doing that were doing 1080 and not even, you know, like, I mean, 60 frames per second for like higher end stuff. Like if you had a decent enough GPU, you could get 60 frames per second. I mean, these new consoles can do native 4K 60 FPS, which is what you get out of higher, like I said, like I would say like mid high tier gaming PCs.
Yeah, I've heard. I'm not. You always kind of get on me about just like spending the money for a PC. I don't game enough to feel like to do that. But
even though you should anyway.
Yeah, it's just because even
that way we can play things together.
Would we play things together though?
Yes, we would, because I'd make you.
It'd be like whenever my wife plays like Mario Party. It's like, what's this button do again?
That's fine. Shawn, I don't have any friends. You don't understand. Why do you think we do this podcast all the time? You're the only person I really talk to.
I've done this for 6 years. You could play a fucking game with me.
Right? Fucking give me something.
Yeah, I know. So the big game that I'm excited for PS5, it's on the PS4 as well, but Cyberpunk, which got pushed. But that's kind of like, I was really wanting to get a PlayStation sooner because when that game came out, I didn't want you to get too far ahead of me. But now that that's got pushed till December, I'm kind of like, okay, well, maybe I'll just wait till January or February to get a PS5.
Well, see, the other thing, and I mean, fingers crossed on this, but I mean, in about a year from Cyberpunk's release, they're supposed to be adding a multiplayer component.
Oh, really?
They're
gonna
do that, and this is the fingers crossed part. The fingers crossed part is that they put in crossplay.
Mm-hmm. That's been talked about
for years. Because if they put in crossplay, then we're golden. Then you can play your game on your PlayStation 5, and I can play my game on my pretty little baby, and we'll be good.
Yeah, I'll have to invest in the PlayStation Network probably.
I will say though that Sony is very, very notorious when it comes to not allowing crossplay on stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense because their only thing is really the PlayStation, whereas like Xbox is like, yeah, sure, let's do crossplay because it's just PC, which they own.
Yeah. Microsoft is like, yeah, let's do crossplay. Oh, we have Windows and an Xbox? Lol. Yeah. We got this.
Sony's like, but
the only games I can really think off the top of my head that have crossplay enabled across all three things, Fortnite, which I don't play, but not disparaging anyone that does, even though I want to. Fortnite, No Man's Sky, which is really, really fun. I've tried to get you to play that forever. No Man's Sky I really like. And Warframe, which is you run around and you run and flip around and shoot things and collect. It's a very
is it like League of Legends?
No. It's like a over the camera third person shooter. I'll have to fill you in on Warframe later because that'd take a while to explain. But those are the only ones I can think of, like just off the top of my head, that crossplay across Sony, Xbox, and PC.
Yeah, Cyberpunk will be fun because like GTA 5 has that online. It's not cross systems, but I don't think it is anyway. But when I try to play that a little bit, like I love that idea. It's like The Sims, but you get to like shoot people.
Yeah.
And like,
I don't know how I feel about how excited you are about that.
You get to level up, you get a penthouse, and you can be like Tony Montana.
Like your eyes like really have this big flash of excitement when you're like, and I get to shoot people.
Yeah, real people too. Like you find the ones that have the little diamond above their head. You put them in the bathroom and light the house on fire.
Oh my God.
I've got a lot of rage, Richard.
Apparently.
I didn't get a PlayStation pre-ordered. But the problem with games like that too is like, I wish that I had like a teenager's amount of time to play it.
Oh my God, me too.
Because
like I'm actually a little fucking jealous because my son does remote learning from school, for school. And so like he works on school, about like 5 hours a day. Like he gets up, he puts in his time, he does his schoolwork and he's all fine. But then the rest of the time, he's already at home, he's already sitting in front of his computer, like. Yeah, he's going to play that fucking Cyberpunk game, and he's going to play it way more than I am, and it kind of pisses me off a little bit.
Richard, I want to think that you might want to introduce a thing called parental control and limit his time. You'll just hear a beep. It says,
You didn't say the magic word.
Dad, don't be a dick. Sorry, can't hear you.
He'd be so mad. He's very, very excited for that game.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I know, like, I could get it for PS4, and I think I get it free when you upgrade to PS5. I've been
watching, they've been having a series of episodes where they talk about different aspects of the game, like that's coming up. There was one where they introduced a motorcycle. Because they were talking about like different cars and stuff you can drive in the game, different classes and stuff like that. Apparently, there's a motorcycle in there that you can actually have. It's an Arch motorcycle, and so I know you probably know this. Arch motorcycle is a custom brand of motorcycle. It's a custom bike line. And the company is co-owned. I can't remember the other guy's name, but it's Keanu Reeves.
Oh yeah. I think I knew that.
So apparently they made there's a specific concept bike that's in the game that Arch, designed, that you can actually get an actual motorcycle, physical motorcycle that's based off the concept in the game.
That's pretty cool.
I checked the price, Shawn. That bike is like
$30,000.
No, it's more.
Wow.
It's a lot more. I'm trying to I'll have it for you in just a second, but I guarantee it is $78,000.
And that's expensive for a bike. Cause I think like a nice Harley, I think is like $20,000.
That is basically a top of the line for the bike.
Now I need to look up Harley bikes. So they're like, no.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. That's the starting price is $78,000.
God, you know what makes me nervous about that? Like you drop that thing.
It's a limited run. Arch produces a limited number of bikes annually, and this bike is completely custom. It's completely custom made.
Oh, well, that makes sense then if it's $70,000.
Oh yeah. No, I'm not saying it's not justified. I'm just saying it's $78,000. But it's a 100% custom built. It's a custom built concept motorcycle.
So just talking out loud, like, do you wish you were kind of a bike person?
Yes.
Because like I'm looking at this like this 2020 Harley Fat Boy, like it's all blacked out, and it's kind of more of it's a cruiser, but it's just kind of more of like what you'd see like Sons of Anarchy, kind of like that kind of style.
I really wish I had the money, and I wish number one, I wish I had the money, and number two, I wish I lived in a climate that I could ride a bike year round.
Oh, it wouldn't be bad. I just wish I had.
I'm not saying that like because I live in a place where where the climate's more seasonal and I can't ride a bike year round. I'm not saying that I don't. That's what's putting me off. But I would, if I had a motorcycle, I would want to use it year round.
Yeah, because I mean, where we're from, it's kind of more of a hobby.
Oh. Exactly. Like, it's the weekend. I'm gonna go ride the bike.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice day, so I'll actually ride it to work.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's
nice
gonna rain.
I'll ride the bike to work and back.
Yeah.
Like if I was in a place where I could ride a bike year round, that's what I do. I'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna go everywhere in this motorcycle.
I've never actually ridden. I've ridden like a dirt bike kind of thing, but I've never ridden like a bike. Like on.
I've had a bike.
What's the fastest you've had one go? Like, have you been on
fastest?
Yeah, like have you been on like the
Oh
highway?
my god, it was such a baby motorcycle. It was such a baby motorcycle. I think the max I could do was probably like 65 if I was going downhill.
Gotcha. I just
like,
know
it was small.
The fastest I've been on like an open air thing was like a four-wheeler doing like 25.
Yeah.
And that felt like I was going 100 miles an hour.
Oh yeah. Like I've done 65 on that. I've done 65 on that bike, and it does. It feels like you're going like 4,000 miles an hour. And I'll tell you what, like it can get scary. Like I was on the highway with it, and like a semi truck like passes you by,
mm-hmm.
And you're going, you're doing 55, 60 on a bike, and a semi truck like just fucking blows by you. Like it freaks you out a little bit.
I bet. Like I could do like you think like the in town kind of riding, like 35, 40, that might feel okay. Like the one time I thought about getting a bike, it was when we worked at the sports bar and one of the guys was selling his, and I was like, he's like wanted like 10 grand for it. I was like, I got enough money, I could do that, or at least get to where I can get a loan for it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm gonna call my dad. I'm like, Dad, what do you think about me getting a bike? And there's just a long pause. He's like, I wish you wouldn't, but it's kind of up to you. And I thought about like riding from our house down the highway. Like it's like a 15-minute ride on like 65, 70.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that sounds scary. No, that's a pass for me. That's a no for me, dog.
It's scary. I'm not. No lie. It's fucking scary.
Yeah. Well, when you think of the downside of it, it's like in video games, you wreck, you fall, you hurt yourself, you take some potion, you're good. In real life, not the same.
And also, if you run into people in real life with your car and or motorcycle, then there's consequences.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just somebody like shaking their fist and going, "Hey, watch it, buddy."
Yeah, they're pulling your head out from the front of the car and peeling your body off the back. But no, I was just looking at that Harley. It was like 20 grand. I was like, man, like that'd be cool. And the other thing that kind of deters me from getting a bike is this one time I was pulling up behind this guy on a bike, and he must have just got it. He had his like kid on it, and the person in front of him did something, so he like started to go and then stopped, but didn't put his feet down in time and dropped it.
Oh shit.
And so that's the other thought. I was like, you get this nice looking bike and you drop it. It's like,
yeah,
well, that's all scratched.
Yeah.
up.
I did lay that bike down once or twice. Cause at one point it was the only form of transportation I had, which was fine until it started to snow. And then I'm like, well shit, I gotta get this bike home. Like it's gotta get home.
Did you just drive super slow?
Yeah, I mean, but I was going slow and everything, but the way that bike was and the tires were, the second I got in over like an inch and a half of snow, the whole thing just wanted to just slide out from under me.
Oh,
and it did once. Like it came out from under me and I laid it down once.
Yeah, those aren't meant for winter at all, or rain really.
Not
probably.
at all, no. Especially the kind that I had. But PlayStation 5 is fun, and Cyberpunk will be fun.
Yeah, and we'll be safe playing it too.
Yeah. And we can hit people, and all they'll do is yell at us.
That's right.
And then go about their lives.
We can get that custom bike in the virtual world, and it won't cost us $70,000.
True story.
But yeah, there's a lot of tech going on. We're getting into Christmas
phones,
time.
Consoles,
watches,
games. What? Nah.
But yeah, I probably won't get my PlayStation until January, February. And once I do, we'll probably talk about it some there, I guess. But
nice.
I guess, Richard, as we're tidying up our drowning in tech conversation, what's some Richard's closing thoughts?
A PlayStation 5 or a iPhone can't give you a real hug. So keep your loved ones close. Keep your phone close, but keep your loved ones closer. Unless they're infected, in which case don't keep them close and don't have them help you move.
All right, well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping at a socially appropriate distance. Visit our website at languageofbromance.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at bros@languageofbromance.com. You can join our Patreon account if you like. It's patreon.com/languageofbromance. And we like to thank our favorite patrons, Wendy and Aaron.
We love you guys, and stay away from Shawn right now.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess he'll be good. He'll be good soon, I promise.
Yeah, I guess we should say I'm fine. I had a couple rough days. He
is fine. I mean, he had a couple days where he was like a little tired, and but he's good. He's right now. Everything's copacetic. I am not doing the show by myself.
No, Richard.
This thing will go off the rails if that ever happens.
He's gone. All right, Richard. Is there anything else before I close her out?
I miss you so much. Don't you die on me.
All right. Well, that's all the Bromance we have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And remember, don't be a why.
Be a why not.
But Richard, this iPhone.
And you know what? It's not this, which is fine. Because this phone's garbage. I hate it.